This is Mac from JLPTBootcamp.com here with another N5 grammar lesson. Today we're going to talk about this, that, and which. And so to set the scene here, you are out with your friend here on a date, and she's eating some kind of candy, and you want to know the name of that candy. So you ask her, "Sore wa nani?" And basically, sore is that, nani is what. So you're asking, what is that? She responds, "Kore wa ringo ame tabetai?" She responds in English. This would be, this is apple candy. Ringo is apple, ame is candy. And she asks, "Tabetai?" which means, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat one? And you take a bite and you say, "Oishii," which is delicious. And she responds, "Desho," which is a way in Japanese to it's used in conversation to mean, isn't it? Isn't that right? It is delicious. So you're eating your ringo ame, and you're using kore, sore, and are. And these are the three words that are used to refer to this and that in Japanese. And now you might have noticed, obviously, there's three words where in English there's two. Kore generally refers to the same meaning as this in English. It's something that you're holding, you're touching, or is close to the speaker. Basically the same as it is in English, this. Sore is usually used for that. It's something close to the listener or in the general area of the listener, on their side of the room, so to speak. Sometimes you might see this in a grammar textbook as something that a speaker's holding or a speaker's in control of, but this is something that could actually be just in their general area. It doesn't have to be something that they're actually physically touching. Whereas are is something that is either understood by both listener and speaker, or something that is quite distant from both speaker and listener. It's either far away, or it's not really in their realm of they can't touch it very easily, so to speak. Generally speaking, you won't use are that much in conversation. You'll usually use kore and sore, unless are is kind of a special. It's not special, but it's not as used as often as kore and sore. So, for example, you could say this sentence, "Are wa ii kuruma desu." And in this situation, maybe you're talking about something that you talked about before, so it's understood between the two of you that you're talking about this particular car, or you see the car off from a good distance. Maybe you're walking toward it, but you're not very close to it. You could use are wa in this situation. So, moving on, you duck into a pet store with your date, and you're looking at some animals, some pets, and she asks you, "Dore ga suki?" Which one do you like? And you answer kore, this one, pointing at a particular pet. And she's using dore, which is a way for asking which. And there's two sentence patterns here that are common for the N5 level. Of course, there's several other different kinds of patterns, but you'll see these probably the most at the N5 level. First one is dore ga suki desu ka? Which one do you like? And second one, dore o, some kind of action, ka. So which item are you doing an action to is the second one. For example, this example sentence, dore o kaimashita ka? Which one did you buy? Which maybe you were shopping for shirts here in this particular situation, and you bought the yellow shirt or whatnot. You could use this, dore o kaimashita ka? One thing to keep in mind here is that dore is usually referring to some kind of item and not obviously a person or something that's doing an action. So usually you'll see this used as with o to mark it as an object, possibly ni to mark it as something that's being selected or chosen. For when you use ni shimasu, dore ni shimasu, what are you choosing when you're ordering, or in a couple other situations. You'll usually see it with o though, except for that first sentence pattern, dore ga ski desu ka? What do you like? With ski, you need to use ga. So let's move on to the next situation. Now you're looking at cats, and your date asks you, kono, or doesn't ask you, but says, kono neko wa kawaii. So she's pointing to this cat is cute, she says. And you agree, sono neko wa hayai. So you agree, yes, it is cute. That cat is fast, is the literal meaning there. So hayai is fast, neko is cat. Of course, sono is that, kono is this. And so you're using kono, sono, and ano here. Kono, again, it means this thing that's close to or touching the speaker, the person that's using it. Whereas sono is something that's close or touching the listener in the listener's area. It could also be something there's only one of in the room. It can be thought of as the. When Japanese students are learning English, they will translate sono as the when they're doing translation exercises and things, because it can have that meaning, especially if there's an object that is equidistant between you and the listener. You could refer to it with sono. So if there's an apple on a table or whatnot, you could say sono ringo o kudasai. Please give me the apple. I mean, it can also be translated as that apple, but a lot of times in English we don't use that as much as you use sono in Japanese. So you could think of it as the only one object. Again, ano is a thing that's not close to either speaker or listener, something that's understood between the speaker and listener, something that was referred to earlier. For example, this example sentence, ano mise wa oki desu. Maybe you were talking about the store, mise is a store, before, or it's your favorite store, or you know about the store. You would use ano to refer to the store. You could also use it with a store that's off into the distance or whatnot, that's not very close to you or the listener. You can use it in both of those situations. So moving on, your date asks you another question. Dono dobutsu ga suki no? And you reply, chinchira. And she asks, honto? And you respond, honto. So she first asks you, which animal do you like? And you reply, chinchira, which is the chinchilla. It's a kind of a big fluffy mouse. And she responds, honto? Really? And you reply, really. Now, here she used the no for a question particle. Sometimes this is used casually to mark a question, the no particle. And also in the previous example, she just completely dropped the no. And actually, if you have a questioning intonation, you don't need the no as well. No brings with it kind of a connotation of, I'd really like to know that information. That no particle. You could just ask a question with rising intonation, same as in English. We can ask, you like pizza? That's not really a question. We didn't ask, do you like pizza? It's more of a sentence with a question intonation. It's the same in Japanese. You can kind of raise a question. For example, she asked before, dore ga suki? Which do you like? You can use that same structure in Japanese as you would in English. So finally, this dono is asking about which, but this dono needs a noun after it. So dono noun ga suki desu ka? What kind of noun, what kind of thing, what kind of movie or book do you like? That particular noun. Or, of course, you can use it the same way as you can use dore, dono, noun, action. What kind of action? What item did you perform an action with? So again, what kind of book did you buy? Dono hon o kaimashita ka? Or movie or whatnot. You can use it in this particular structure. And here's another example. Dono eiga ga suki desu ka? What kind of movies do you like? This is a kind of a general question. What kind of movie do you like? Do you like action movies or horror movies? Using this which here. So you might be wondering, what's the difference between the kore, sore, are, dore, and kono, sono, ano, and dono. The difference here is, in English, we have one word that serves two purposes. These two sentences here, I like this book. Here in this situation, this is acting like a adjective. Second sentence, I like this. That this is acting as a noun. Maybe you can use this as you're touching or pointing at something. I like this. I like this particular book. We don't have to mention what type of item it is. And it performs kind of like a noun. It's a little bit more complicated than that, of course, but in this particular situation, it's behaving as a noun. But in Japanese, this is actually two different words. So if you translated these two sentences into Japanese, you'd have kono hon ga suki desu and kore ga suki desu. So this book and this, something I'm touching or pointing at, is two different words. Basically, kono, sono, ano, and dono need a noun following them most of the time. Whereas kore, sore, are, and dore can behave, they can stand alone. They don't need something following them. And one way to think of this is that the no's, the kono, sono, ano, dono, are basically the kore plus noun, or sore plus noun, are plus no. Are plus no, or dore plus no. So you combine those together, you have the no particle at the end that acts kind of as a hook. The no particle by itself is actually possessive. It shows possession. For example, you could say maku no kuruma, so Mac's car. So in this situation, you can kind of think of the no as it needs to latch on to something. It's a little hook that needs to latch onto a noun. And so it can't stand by itself. It needs some kind of noun to follow it. That's usually what helped me remember it. So, are you ready for the pop quiz? Can you translate these sentences? First one is, this is expensive. This is expensive. Translation would be, kore wa takai desu. And next one, which one do you want? Literally, which one is good? To help you translate that. Which one is good? Which one do you want? And that in Japanese would be, dore ga ii desu ka? So which one is good? And next one, the shirt is nice. The shirt is nice. We would say, sono shatsu wa ii desu. So again, this sono can act as the. Maybe there's only one shirt. Maybe there's a couple different articles of clothing on a table or laid out on a bed or something. And there's only one shirt. You could use this to refer to that shirt, the one and only shirt. Sono shatsu wa. And last one, which restaurant did you go to? Which restaurant did you go to? In Japanese, that would be, dono restaurant ni ikimashita ka? Dono is which, restaurant is restaurant, and ni marks to a particular place. For movement, ikimashita is the past tense of go, and cause the question marking particle. So real quick review again, kore, sore, and are. Kore is something you're holding, touching, or is close to the speaker. That's this. Sore is something that is close to the listener or on the listener's side of the room, or it could be even something that's equidistant between the speaker and listener that neither of you are touching or even looking at, but is kind of in your area. Are is something that's distant, is far away from the listener and speaker, or is understood between the speaker and listener. You've talked about it before. It's something that's, that you talk about a lot, or you both know about. And dore is used to ask about which. You can use it for ski. Which item do you like? Dore ga suki desu ka? or dore o, action ka. Which item did you do an action to, or are you going to do an action to? Kono sono ano, it's kind of the same thing here. Kono is this, sono is that, or sometimes understood as the. Ano is something that is not close to either speaker or listener, or is understood. It's something that you've talked about before. Again, kono sono ano and dono need to have some kind of noun after them. They can't stand alone. So in the asking about which, same kind of patterns. Dono plus noun, ga ski desu ka. You just need the noun there after the dono to ask about something. And that's it for this and that. In Japanese, this, that, and asking which. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you know someone that is studying for the N5 exam, I'm sure they would love to see this video and get a little bit better understanding of how to use this and that. So why don't you send it along to them and help them out for the exam. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment below this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next month. This has been a grammar explanation video from the JLPT Bootcamp Premium site. Inside the site, you will find some extra goodies, for example, some cheat sheets for all of the videos. And those cheat sheets include a few things. For example, some common mistakes that people make, as well as some example test questions for the JLPT. If you're interested in taking the JLPT and you want that extra edge, something to kind of push you above and get the points that you need to pass, I encourage you to stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. There you can find the cheat sheets as well as some extra practice with the grammar points that I've been talking about today. Hope to see you in the premium site very soon. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.